Listen, y'all, I am so excited to introduce today's guest, whose incredible story of resilience and strength is sure to leave you inspired. Despite facing immense adversity from a young age, our guest has overcome incredible odds to become the incredible person she is today. Her testimony is a reminder that no matter what challenges we may face in life, we have the power to rise above them and come out stronger on the other side. Y'all, please help me welcome the one and only Miss Tippy London. Got a fan base out here. I love it.
How you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Ooh, you are on cloud 9 these days, huh?
Yeah.
We're loving it. We're loving it. So we want to talk about your journey. If you don't mind, we just gonna dive in.
Let's do it.
Is that all right? All right,
Yeah.
let's do it. So let's talk about your childhood. What was life like with both mom and dad in the house?
Childhood-wise, growing up with a mom and a dad under one roof, it was good.
It was good.
We got everything we wanted, you know, like typical mom and dad. Dad say no, mom say yeah. Mom
Yes.
say yeah, dad say no. Like,
did they used to send y'all back and forth to each other? Go ask your mama, you go ask your daddy, you guys say, oh my God.
all the time.
Right?
All the time.
So Tippy, talk to us about a specific moment when you felt like you had to make a choice between doing what was right and doing what you needed to do to survive.
Choice-wise, when my mom and my dad got a divorce, it was kind of like I didn't really have a choice like to choose who I wanted to go with as far as like who I wanted to live with or like who I wanted to stay with. It was kind of like my mom was more like the alpha in the relationship. So like we ended up with my mom, which wasn't a bad choice at all, but you know it kind of differentiated because like I said, like my dad was like growing up always kind of more easygoing, and my mom was more like on a stricter like.
So were you able to talk to your dad more than you felt like you could confide in your mom because she was so strict?
No, I felt like my mom was more like, she cared more. Like my dad was more like easygoing, like he just let everything kind of slide. And my mom was more like, nah, you're not doing it like that. So like my mom she was more like the, I would say like kind of like the heart of like the family, and my dad was more like the spine at that time. But when it came to like certain things like school, dressing, like cleaning up, obedience, like my mom
was on top of y'all.
She didn't play at all.
I love
like,
that.
About stuff like that.
That's awesome. So you spoke on how you were very angry as a child. You were very angry. How did your anger manifest itself during your childhood?
I grew up as an angry, I feel like I grew up as an angry child after my mom and dad divorced. Like after like the age of like 8, like 7, 8 years old, like after they got a divorce, like, you know, it kind of like as a child, you don't understand it. Like you don't get like, okay, mom's going this way, dad's going that way. So it's like, you kind of
two houses. You
kind of gotta pick and choose, like not so much of who you love more, but like, if you're going with mom, then mom is like, my mom was who I knew like my whole life. My dad was kind of like, after my mom and my dad divorced, he kind of like just did his own thing. So it kind of made my mom like my mom and my dad. But anger wise, I feel like that's where most of my anger came from. Like the fact
divorce.
that, like from the divorce. Like,
and how did it manifest itself in your life?
Childhood wise, my mom worked a lot. Like my mom worked, I used to watch my mom work like 3 jobs. Like she'll work from like 7 at night to like 7 in the morning, come home, get us ready for school real quick, drop us off to school, go back to work again, come home, go to sleep for a few hours, drop us off to the daycare or wherever we had to go. So the transpiring part was more like, I feel like it's not that my mom wasn't there, it was more so that she had to do what she had to do to take care of us, like having 4 kids by herself, like raising 4 kids. So that the transpiring part, I think, kind of came from the fact of like being so like not really vulnerable, but being like so young, so angry, not knowing the divorce part of things, like watching other kids how they both of their parents growing up, and it's like you don't have both of your parents, or like watching somebody talk about their dad and you like, well, I don't even know where my dad at. It's like, you know, so I feel like
real. That's tough.
Like that was kind of like, you know, that was the differential part of everything.
That's huge. That's huge. So what was your relationship like with your father growing up, and how did his absence following the divorce impact your life? Now, you spoke about your mom and how she stepped up to the plate, and she was both. She played dual roles.
Yeah.
And she made sure she covered everything she could. What about Dad? How did that impact you?
I feel like my dad not being there kind of impacted me on the side to where, like I said, like my mom was one way, my dad was another way. So like by my dad not being there, I feel like it kind of like it left out that muscle part of like growing up, like having that like comfort, or like having somebody, if you really going through something and you don't want to talk to your mom about it, you want to talk to your dad about it. Like, so relationship wise, growing up, me and my dad, we never had a relationship. Like after him and my mom got a divorce, I probably seen him like 5 or 6 times, like just on and off, just coming around here and there, and that was that. But
so you rarely saw your dad, and then your mom ended up being incarcerated.
Yeah,
how
my
did
mom,
that impact your life?
My mom being incarcerated, like me in middle school, having my mom in like prison, same thing. It's like, you know, you kind of get treated like the outcast kid, because it's like, your dad's not there, your mom's not there, so now I gotta kind of depend on grandma, or I gotta depend on this person. But when the holidays come around, like all your cousins, their mom's there, their dad's there, and it's like, it was, I wouldn't say it was tough, I would say it was more like, it built character. Cause like growing up with my mom in prison, like it taught me how to like help my little brother grow up, like it taught me how to play the role of not a big sister, but at the time, like, you know, I would be considered as my little brother, big sister. Like, it just taught me how to be more responsible, not being able to run the mom for everything all the time.
Learning
like, I had
to be independent at such a young age and responsible for other lives.
Yeah.
Wow. So when you think about the role of forgiveness, the role of forgiveness in your life, what emotions come up when you think about forgiveness?
Forgiveness, I mean, God forgives, I don't. I'm just playing.
I was like, Jesus, you got me.
I'm just
God don't forgive you, but I don't.
Yeah.
Okay, but she's just joking.
Yeah, I'm just joking.
What you really want to say
But for real, when it comes to the role of forgiveness, I'm a Cancer. I have a hard time forgiving. I don't think it's the forgiving part I have a hard time doing. I think it's the forgetting. Because it's like, I could forgive you, but then it's like in the back of my mind, it's
I ain't gonna
never forget what you did. Like, I'm gonna forgive you though, but I ain't gonna forget. So it's like, forgiving, like I'm learning. I'm learning how to, you know, forgive people for past mistakes and things that I've been through in the past.
It's important, you know that?
I know.
Because it releases you.
Yeah, it does.
When you're holding other people, it feels like, you know, you have that aggression towards them, but what it does is it does something on our insides.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow. Hey, welcome back to the Sisaundra Show. I'm here with Tippy London, and she is the owner, CEO of Swag Life. Did I say that right?
Yes, that's correct.
I love it. So we were talking before we went to break, and we want to go back into our conversation with you to continue talking to you about the period in your life where you lost your mother. I'm so sorry, first of all.
Yes,
I lost my mom during that same year. So when your mother passed away, how did you navigate the grieving process?
I think prayer was the main thing, and like working a lot, like just trying to stay like busy. And I noticed when when my mom passed, when I wasn't busy, that's when it like set on me. Like it set on me heavy.
Yes.
Like when I was in a dark room, or like if I lay in the bed by myself and just like think, that's when it weighed on me heavy. But as long as I stayed busy and I stayed active, it was kind of like, okay, like Tiffany, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Like just keep working, just keep going. But that's how I got through it. Like just praying and just like staying like busy, and of course my siblings.
Your
siblings, my family.
Yes, that's everything. That support is everything.
Real,
so you all had each other.
Yeah.
So you lost your mom in 2020?
Yeah,
July
2020. Yeah, July 2020.
And then a year later,
July
2021, you lost your sister.
Yeah.
So how did your sister's passing impact you differently than your mother, and how do you cope?
It was totally, it was, the funny thing about it is like when I lost my mom, I was sad. But it's like when I lost my sister, it felt like I lost my mom.
Wow.
If it makes sense. Because I think me and my sister relationship was just more, my sister was like my second mom.
Mm-hmm.
But when my mom wasn't there, my sister was my mom. So the time that my mom was incarcerated, like my sister was like my mom.
Wow.
So when my sister passed, it was like, whoa. Like I had to take a step back because it was like, I didn't understand it. Like my mom just passed, I get it. She's a little bit up or more in age, but my sister passing, still to this day, I still don't get it. But I just try to, keep moving forward.
Yes.
Knowing that like, I've came to the theory that like in life, we're gonna lose at least 2 to 5 people that we love dearly.
Yes.
We can't do nothing about it. Or they're gonna lose us.
Yes.
So like, I try to prepare myself now mentally to know that somewhere down the line,
somebody's gonna go.
Somebody else gonna go that I love dearly. And you can't prepare yourself for it.
With that?
It's not. You can't.
Right?
The best way to cope with it, I just told you, is like staying positive, working, like staying aggressive in whatever you were doing before they passed. You got to do it 10 times harder now. Because it's like now you got a point to prove. Because it's like while they were here, not that you took it for granted, but it's like they're not here anymore. And like when it came to my sister, she was like my biggest supporter when it came to my brand, my clothes. Every time I drop new clothes, she ain't want it for free. She'll actually buy.
She was actually support you.
She'll actually buy
everything.
You get what I'm saying? So it was a different, like, it put me in a different space, and it actually made me cherish life more, like the people around me and life itself more in general.
Yes.
So it was a
because it seems like too, in most situations, everyone else is losing people until it hits home, and then you're like,
no, it can't happen.
No, but when it happens to you, like, oh my God, it changes your perspective of life and how fragile it is, and how close, how much we should share with people, how much we love them, right?
Yeah, and that's why I tell people when my sister passed, I was like, my sister today could be your sister tomorrow.
Exactly.
Death don't have a time, it don't have like a place, or like it's not gonna send you an invite and be like, hey, I'm coming to kill you.
Only God knows.
Yeah, so it's like you just have to live and like kind of like you just kind of got to cherish everything around you, the people around you, the things around you, like whatever you into, whatever you love, you got to find time to make time for that all the time.
It's so true.
Yeah.
We can plan for tomorrow, but we need to live like it's the last day.
For real.
Right?
Got to live tomorrow like today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how did your experiences, Tippy, growing up shape your beliefs about the criminal justice system and the concept of punishment?
Growing up, I feel like honestly, me personally, I did a lot of stuff. Like I was bad. Growing up, I was real bad. So like,
what's bad, Tippy?
I was bad. Oh God, I was horrible.
Real? Okay.
I was horrible. I'm not gonna lie. Like I didn't, like growing up like I said, as a kid, I didn't have a mom. I didn't have a dad. Like I had my grandma who was like, she was very biased when it came to her daughter's kids, which was us, because my mom wasn't there. So like I was bad. Like I sold drugs, like I robbed. I did a lot of stuff like growing up as a kid that I probably wouldn't have done if I was like structured in a home where like I had a mom and a dad. So the justice system for me, when I went to prison, and I'm not gonna lie, like this is on my mom's wings, like when I went to prison and they got ready to sentence me, I was like, Mom, you think I really should take, like, they trying to give me like 26 months. That's like 2 years, and And she was just like, Tiffany, like, just think about like everything you've done in your life that you weren't supposed to do and add up the time and see if it adds up. And I started thinking, let me just get them 2 years. Let's go on and give me the 2 years. Let me just go ahead and
just did your 2 years.
Yeah, because I did so much in my life in the past till it finally caught up with me. And my mom used to always be like, it's gonna catch up with you one day. One day you could like it's gonna.
So you felt like you just need to go ahead and
sit down, pay the price,
Yes.
So the justice system for me growing up, I would have said it was BS, but like I said, I did so much to the point where it was like my punishment. I feel like was pretty lenient based on all the stuff that I did, but I feel like the justice system in the world that we live in, it's not really, it's different for us.
Not justice for all.
It's not justice at all. It's different for us. And me and my brother, we made a song called Justice. And our ghost wrote it like It was around the Trayvon Martin time, and the hook was like, "Is it justice or just us?" You know, so it's like it's different being like African American in America, and you commit a crime, and then you have another race that commit the same exact crime, and the crime you committed is pretty much based on the color of your skin, based off of.
That's the judgment that you get.
Yeah,
the punishment is more about.
So
yeah.
Justice to me in the world in general is just messed up. And I don't feel like it'll ever get better. I think it'll only get worse.
Really? Yeah. So all the fighting that we're doing for social justice, do you think it's wasted?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say wasted, because somewhere down the line, like somebody listening, some people trying to change it, you know.
I'm telling you, we're never gonna stop fighting.
Yeah, you can never stop.
Tell me this really quick before we go to commercial. If you could give advice, go back in time. If you could give advice to the younger you, what would you say to you? Slow down.
Slow down.
Y'all slow down. We'll
like,
take
slow
a break.
down.
We'll be right back. Yes! Hello, everyone. If you are at work, at home, y'all drop everything and tune in, because it's time for the Sisaundra Show!
Yeah!
Listen, I'm just kidding. Don't y'all get fired. Don't drop everything at work. Listen, speaking of fired, y'all